Check, 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 check. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Good morning and welcome to the Wake.Show. I'm Fisher, and it's freezing here in the Bay Area. Happy MLK Day. Still down in the 40s. How's everybody doing this morning? I would imagine most of the people that are usually watching this time of day are still in bed. You got the day off. Martin Luther King Day. Congratulations. Good for you. We'll get to a couple of things today, stuff you should know, hit some stories, and then I scheduled somebody to come on the show today, and it's an old radio partner of mine. His name is Nate Farmer. Some of you may know him as Napoleon. Listen, that's going way back. He and I haven't done radio together since like 2002. But anyway, one of the reasons why I have him on is because my wife was in Knoxville this past weekend for a bachelorette party. My old friend just happens to work in or live in Knoxville, and so I hired him to be a spy, a private investigator, and follow my wife around. So we'll see what he came up with. But also, I think I might have messed up a little bit because let me get this light on here. I think I might have messed up a little bit because I scheduled him for 7:30, but he's in Central Time, so I don't know if, because 7:30 it would be 6:30, and I'm sure he doesn't want to get up at 6:30 on a day that he would normally have off. Man, my eyes are red again. Son of a! I don't have my clear eyes with me. All right, so how's that? Let's see. I want to make sure that we are on and running before we get going here. Uh-oh. I don't see anything on Facebook. Wait a second here. We are live. I see that. But I don't see anything on our Facebook page. So, let me fire that bad boy up. Okay. Now what's going on? Oh, wait, no. I see. We're on. We're good. How you doing, Jeff? Or is it frozen? Oh, no. All right, it's working. Sorry about that. I just wanted to check and make sure. We will get to some stuff you should know this morning and to hit some of the topics of the day. I don't think I'm going to go till 9. I was thinking about that over the weekend, until we get another hosting, whoever the producer / co-host / social media expert / engineer / until we get that in here. I don't, here's the thing, I'll stretch, I can stretch for 2 hours if we need, but is it really that compelling? No. So I'm wondering, until we get that person in here, we just make sure we start every day at 7:00 and then just kind of go through the content that we have and a guest or whatever, and then, wrap it up. If it goes to 9, it goes to 9. If it goes to 8, it goes to 8. And then we'll, figure it out as we add some people to the show here, or at least one person to the show. Too cold out there. It is cold, man. Was it? Can I start the show today by just thanking whatever it is I think I believe in? Because I don't know how I made it through last week and made it to today without just being sick. Going into last week, there was that little cough, kind of like you hear today. Something in here, and then I'm looking at my week going, there's just no way I'm going to be able to make it through this week without, at some point, just getting put down. But somehow made it through even on a Thursday or Saturday morning when I'm in Jacksonville. It's 40 degrees in Jacksonville at race time. Well, at race time, actually, it was a little warmer than that, and it just got colder as the sun came up, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, but it happened. And so, yes, they're announcing like over 2,000 people's names in 40-degree weather on the water, on the St. Johns River in downtown Jacksonville, which is absolutely beautiful. And And again, yeah, somehow I made it, and I feel okay. I mean, you can tell I've got a little something, but nothing that makes me feel like crap. Just makes me sound like crap here and there. We have the stuff you should know here in a second. Good morning, Cords. I'm excited about the guest I have on this morning, Nate Farmer. Like I said, we'll have him on because my wife was in his hometown for a bachelorette party. And I just want to make, I just had him follow her around the entire time. So I want to make sure, all's good. So we'll check in with him coming up, talk a little bit about radio, television, media, and how that has changed over the last 15 years. Let's get the stuff you should know. All right. Stuff you should know. Let me hit my stuff you should know buttons over. We can't have stuff you should know without my stuff you should know buttons. Boom, boom, and boom. Oh, no. Oh, I forgot to put my stuff you should know stuff. Hold on. Sorry. Maybe the show is not going to last too long today after all. Oh, I can't. Is it hard to do while? I think we can do it. Hold on a second here. There we go. I was all excited this morning because for the first time since we started the show, we've always said we start the show at 7 o'clock, but I don't know that we've ever actually started the show at 7 o'clock. And so I was all excited this morning that I actually started the show at, come on, you can do it. See, Jonny was telling me that it is hard to do what I'm getting ready to do, or I'm trying to do. It's hard to do live. Wait, because sometimes it crashes the system. But system doesn't seem crashed. We seem to be working here. All right. Sunny day, high of 65. There was widespread chaos and panic in Hawaii on Saturday when an emergency alert notification went out to cell phones, television, and radio. Warning of a missile strike. The Hawaii governor said, How did this happen? An employee brought up the wrong message template and then also hit confirm to send it out. So he brings up the message template that's, it's supposed to be say this is a test or whatever it's supposed to say. But he brings up the one that says this is not a drill. This is real. And then he hits confirm on it to send that out. Then it took 38 minutes for a new message to be sent saying it was a false alarm. Why did it take 38 minutes? Because they don't have a template for that. They don't have a template for the event that you send out the wrong message. It goes, hey, we have sent out the wrong message. And I guess that system's not equipped where you can just easily manually override that. So it took 38 minutes to clear that up. Future drills are being suspended, and they will be implementing a 2-person activation rule. Whistleblower and transgender activist Chelsea Manning has filed to run for U.S. Senate in Maryland. Manning was sent to prison after a 2013 espionage conviction for leaking classified documents to WikiLeaks. She was sentenced to 35 years, but President Barack Obama commuted the sentence at the end of his term. 50 people jumped more than 10 feet into frigid winter waters after a shuttle ferrying them to the Tropical Breeze casino cruise off the Florida Gulf Coast caught fire Sunday. Ooh, I got a picture. Let me show you this bad boy here. This is what they leapt from. This is why they jumped into the frigid waters there. Look at that. And that's the ferry that was, shuttling them out to the casino cruise. So all 50 people made it to shore safely, although 50 of them were treated at the hospitals for minor injuries. Well, maybe this is going to be a shorter show than I anticipated. Son of a bitch. Maybe this will be a much shorter show than I anticipated. The Eagles beat the Falcons. The Patriots beat the Titans on Saturday to advance to the playoffs as the Jacksonville Jaguars upset the Steelers in Pittsburgh on Sunday. However, the game to watch, really, there was a lot of, that Steelers game obviously was a game to watch. However, the game really to watch was the final game of the divisional round last night. It was a ridiculous roller coaster battle between the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints. The Vikings nearly blew a 17-0 lead and had multiple heartbreaking moments near the end, but Stephon Diggs made the play of his life to seal the 29-24 victory as time ran out. And believe it or not, that is the first time. I'm sorry, guys. I know you can't sit and listen to this all effing morning. And Keith Jackson, one of sports' great voices and considered the voice of college football by several generations, died on Friday. He was 89 years old. And that is stuff you should know for today. So much flu in the hospital right now. Thank God I'm still healthy. Yeah, Jeff, one of the people that watch the show every single day. Good morning, by the way. I'll bring you some hot chords. Thank you. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna effing matter. But thank you very much. Right as I start off the show thanking whatever it is I think I believe in for me not getting overly sick over the last week, and then I can't put 3 words together this morning without hacking my damn head off. Still got to say thank you to whatever it is you believe in, right? Just last night after the game, Stephon, was that his name? Diggs. Stephon Diggs said God put him in the right place. Speaking of thinking whatever it is you think you believe in, God put him in the right place to catch that ball. I don't know, man. I just think God probably has other things going on. But, I mean, if you are a professional athlete, then the world does revolve around you, and you are the center of the universe, so it makes perfect sense that God would have a hand in you catching a ball. Sorry. Don't need to get off on that this morning. Let's run through some of the stories today. Get this off the screen here. Let's run through some of those stories today, and yeah. I mean, listen, it's MLK Day. Most people have off. The reason, if you might be, Fish, why don't you take the day off too? You obviously need it. Because I just don't think you can here in the beginning. This is a brand new show. This is a brand new venture. And yeah, there's the that back and forth between your health and are you going to be putting out the best product you possibly can today, and just making sure that you come in and you're, everybody else has the day off. Everybody else on the radio, everybody else in television, they got today off. It's a national holiday. But I don't know. I just think it's important for us here in the beginning. We're still trying to get traction. We're very excited about our early numbers, but those early numbers need to continue to grow, or this goes nowhere. And so we just felt like it was important to come in today. Yeah. Miss you, Jonny Torres. Where do you guys want to start this morning? What do you want to chat about? Nothing? So we'll go back to bed. For those of you that are up and working this morning like me, just want to head back to bed. Let's run through some of the stuff from over the weekend. We'll see how far we get this morning. That's what I get for getting all excited about coming in today. That's what I get for getting all excited that I was making sure that we were going to be on by 7 o'clock. We get on by 7 o'clock, and it's shit. It's me coughing into a GD microphone for 15 effing minutes. Great content. President Donald Trump made his first comments about the false ballistic missile alert sent out by Hawaiian authorities more than a day after the mistaken alert sent residents into a panic. I don't want to focus too much on what the president had to say. I just want to put it out there. But I want to get to a Reddit thread here in a second that of people in Hawaii and what they did, and they thought the world was coming to an end. What's so mind-numbing? What's so mind-numbing about this is that I've been sitting in here for 2 hours prepping, talking out loud to myself. Not one cough, hardly a cough. And I don't know what it is about radio. Because, you talk to a lot of people in radio and how common this is that you're fine until the second you key your GD microphone. And then for whatever reason, that's it. You're screwed. Let's try again. All right. So Trump said they made a mistake, he said Sunday, commending authorities for taking responsibility for what happened, which was blamed on an emergency worker hitting the wrong template during a drill. Quote, well, that was a state thing, but we're going to now get involved with them. I love that they took responsibility. They took total responsibility, but we're going to get involved. Their attitude and what they want to do, I think, is terrific. They took responsibility. They made a mistake. I don't know what any of that means. So he was like, hey, it's a state thing. And then just it is very difficult to keep up with this president because usually when it comes to politicians, they say different things in front of different crowds. Like they'll say one thing in front of one group, and then the next day or the next moment, they're somewhere else saying something different. But with this politician, he says something different in the same sentence. He says something in the beginning of the sentence, and by the end of the sentence, it's something different. Well, that was a state thing. That was a state thing. But we're going to now get involved with them. I love that. Is this a state thing or is this not a state thing? Well, but now that people know about it, we're going to turn it into a federal thing. Is it a state thing or is it not a state thing? I don't care about that part of it. Let's get to the people of Hawaii because this really isn't a federal thing. This has nothing to do with the president, has nothing to do with the federal government whatsoever. It is a state thing. So people who made an impulse decision when they found out Hawaii was going to be nuked, what did you do and do you regret it? Is the Reddit thread. Personally, I slept through it. I woke up to the second LOL NVM alert. Though my dad was down at the beach taking pictures, he told me later that he was fully intended to just stay there and hang out. My mom had thought her phone had a virus, so she didn't do anything either. So family number one, you got one person sleeping through it. The other person who saw it goes down to the beach, is like, well, this is the end. Let me just, hang out here for take a couple of pictures and enjoy the surf before it all ends. And then somebody else thought it wasn't real. My dad lives in a Molokai population of 8,000, so I called him when I heard of it, asked him about it. He said he didn't think it was real anyway. Number two, a nuke from North Korea would be small and aimed at one of the population centers, Maui, the big island, and would not kill him. And three, if one or two were wrong, he couldn't do much to stop it. So he said he just had breakfast in the middle of the night like usual. To me, this was fascinating coming across this thread because it gives you insight into the way human brains work when the end is imminent, when you think that death is just minutes away. Hawaii resident here, while I didn't make the impulse decision, the people around me did. I was sleeping when the announcement came out, and the others in my house didn't decide to wake me up. They said if I was going to die, might as well let me die in my sleep. We all became tired of the news after about 2 hours, and then it just became annoying. I've heard that. I've heard that going way back. That in times of tragedy, for instance, a family member passes in the middle of the night. The decision not to start calling people at 2 o'clock in the morning when this went down, because the thought is, your life is about to change as soon as you hear this news, so you might as well get a full night's sleep, wake up in the morning before I break this to you. Not bad logic. Someone else, this is Hawaii, after hearing the news. I ate all the leftover lasagna in my fridge. I figured that if shit's about to hit the fan, I better carb the F up. This person lives on Big Island. People respond to that most rational response yet: leave no carbs behind. Carb up. You may need the energy. You swim to the mainland. Phillips. Yeah, this is going to be a short show today. And I apologize because I'm sure it is not. I'm sure it's not at all. I mean, look at me. It's ridiculous. I'm sure this is not at all palatable for anybody. So I apologize. Somebody else before after this, I'm just going to blow through some of the stories, and then I think that'll be it. Around the time of the warning, I was playing Call of Duty Zombies. How great would that be? You're playing Call of Duty Zombies, and all of a sudden you find out that the world is about to end, and you drop your game controller and go pick up your real AR-15. Oh, by the way, I was around a real gun this weekend. We'll come back to that. It was an AR something. I remember it had the 3 numbers in it, and one of them was 2. An AR-2 something. That's my cough button. Ay, ay, ay. Around the time of the warning, I was playing Call of Duty Zombies. I got the text immediately, texted my off-island family. I then texted our on-island family, let them know that I had a better me coughing than clearly spoken crap news. Oh, I guess there is no going home. We have a lot of work to do after the show today. Well, maybe I should save my voice for all the work that we have to do after the show today. Got the text and immediately texted my off-island family. I then texted our on-island family, let them know. I had the 95-year-old family matriarch sleeping happily on my couch. Once I notified everyone as to our whereabouts, then I gently woke her up and appraised her of the situation. She asked a few questions and then sat back and thought a bit. After a short while, she said we should make coffee because the power will soon go out. Oh, I love old people. I made her coffee and continued to take phone calls and texts while just kind of hanging out with my grandmother. She survived Pearl Harbor and didn't seem overly concerned, and then I saw there was no reason to worry her. I'd like to say I chugged my special occasion boo, smoked my most expensive cigar, did rails of coke off a stripper, but none of that mattered. I was right where I wanted to be. She raised me, and we would be able to easily find each other if there is a next life. And that's just some of the stuff that was coming off the island over the weekend. As let's see, as Hawaii thought they were going to die. What would you do? What would you do if all of a sudden you looked down at your phone and you saw that there was a missile inbound? You know, we have CENTCOM right here in the Bay Area. What would you do? You look down. I guess right now, because of what happened, I probably would have, I'd probably say this is fake too. But otherwise, I think I'm with these people. I don't think I'd freak out too much. I'd call my mom, or depending on if I wasn't with my wife, call my wife. One of those kind of things, and be like, all right, let's just chill and, for these next few minutes before, things go south. So I just wanted to bring up this picture here just for a second because of the controversies, stemming from last week. And our president allegedly calling Haiti a shithole and other African countries shitholes. Well, the word shithole was projected onto a Trump Tower by an artist. With I don't know if you can tell what that is or not, but those are little smiley poop emojis that are also part of all of this. The word shithole was projected onto President Trump's D.C. hotel on Saturday. The video shows the word along with the poop emoji being projected onto the property. Pay Trump's bribes here. Emoluments welcome, and we are all responsible to stand up and end white supremacy were also projected onto the building. But, you know, now we come into today, and see, at first when this stuff went down and the president said, hey, I didn't say that, I didn't believe him. In all due respect, Mr. President, this sounds like exactly like something that would come out of your mouth, plus the other things that people were saying. But now we come in today, and there's multiple people in that room that say he did not say anything like that. I never heard anything like that, and this is a disgusting misrepresentation of what was said that day. So when it comes to the shithole controversy, I have no opinion. Except moving on to this next story where you watch the reaction to this kind of stuff. And Airbnb has decided to put their money where their mouth is, and responding to President Donald Trump's alleged denigrating comments in a meeting on immigration, vacation rental platform Airbnb says will spend at least $100,000 on digital ads promoting listings in Haiti, El Salvador, and African countries. Airbnb says the 75,000 hosts in those locales earn $170 million in 2017. So these little shithole countries that he's talking about, just those the Airbnbs that are set up there, 75,000 of them through Haiti and Africa, made $170 million during the expansion push there. The company says it wants to encourage more travelers to visit these special and beautiful places as part of our mission to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere. Next. Coming from TampaBay.com. Did you guys see that the winner of the Mega Millions, the $450 Mega Million, finally came forward, and we know his name? And so we're all guessing, of course, when this was going down, who was going to be the winner of this thing. And you know, it was Port Richey. So you're picturing one of two groups of people. You either have, you know, somebody who's like 85. It didn't even happen. You'd hear the annoyance in my voice. Somebody who's 85 who wins $450 million, or some toothless MFer. No, just a 20-year-old kid. And by the way, Port Richey, I was going to apologize for being stereotypical, but I mean, you know, it's Port Richey. Walt Blenner is a Tampa Bay personal. Now, by the way, Walt is not the person who won this thing. The story coming out of TampaBay.com, and this is the reason I want to get to it, is because this is the story about a lawyer. And this guy he had represented somebody here, somebody there, and then all of it. Now he's representing this kid, and so he gives advice out for those potential lottery winners. Walt Blenner is a Tampa Bay personal injury lawyer who also does some estate planning and recently fell into a niche of representing lawyers. Is it niche or niche? I always say niche unless I see it spelled out, then I want to say niche. About 3 years ago, Blenner helped a man who won a $3 million scratch-off secure his newfound wealth. He's also written a blog post on his law firm website providing guidance to lottery winners, and has also consulted with several of them on the phone. Then came Shane Missler, 20 years old, out of Port Richey. Oh, Shane. A millennial. He's got himself, not even old enough to drink, got himself $450 million, or won that jackpot. Among the advice that the attorney has told his new clients so far, your old life is gone. You can never go back to that life. It will never be the same. Winning the lottery can cause a roller coaster of emotion, said Blenner in his first interview since Missler's win. But that euphoria is followed by a trail of important decisions. And here's what you need to know. First, there's the security and privacy phase. In Missler's case, security became paramount due to the huge windfall. In general, he added, lottery winners will. And so what would you do? What would be some of the first things that you would do if you ended up winning the lottery? Here, they shut down their social media accounts. Check. Cancel phone accounts. They turn off all their phones. Check. Because here in the state of Florida, it is law. You can't win the lottery in private. You can't win the lottery and then have your name not go public. Your name is going public. So you need to come off all of these, everything. Cancel phone accounts, and then they use no contract phones to communicate with family members. So once you become a 100 millionaire, you then live the lifestyle of a gangster, come to find out. Same lifestyle as a gangster. One, privacy and security parameters. Once they are in place, winners must then chart their futures. In the case of Blenner's $3 million scratch-off winner, the man went to his local bank and opened 3 different accounts, one for investments, one for spending, and a third for his children. But Mistler's financial setup will be vastly different. He took the lump sum of $281,874,999 minus taxes, received $211 million. Lottery officials said Friday the money will be paid to a trust named Secret 007 LLC that is set up with Mistler as the managing member. So he's 20 years old, and they're like, hey, we got to set up this trust. We're going to do it under an LLC, and I guess, I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with being sued and whatnot. So what would you like the name of this LLC to be? He's 20. He's 20. He probably picked his Call of Duty name. Well, on Call of Duty, I'm Secret Agent 007, or Secret 007 LL. So that's what they ended up calling him, or calling this LLC. With an enormous amount, you don't really do active investments. You do wealth management. You already have the money, already have all the money in the world. Lottery winners also have to consider upgrading their insurance from car to homeowners policies. They can also sign up for something called kidnap and ransom insurance. There's also the question of disappearing for a while until the media frenzy settles. With smaller lottery winners, they can take a cruise or vacation for a couple weeks and return that they find the media is on to 15 other things in that time frame. When it's a big number, however, people remember. I mean, yeah, hell yeah, we remember. So I'm talking about it today. Once lottery winners return from their impromptu vacations, the real long-term decisions set in. Do they quit their job? Do they rent or buy new property? Where will they live? I'm sure for most of those people that even said that they were going to quit their job, I'll quit. Or no, they'll keep their job. I bet that lasts about less than a month. No, I'm going to keep working. That's the kind of man I am. And after about a month, I'm sure you're on to bigger and better things. Once lottery winners return from their impromptu vacations, the real long-term decisions set in. Do they quit their job? Do they rent or buy new property? Where will they live? And on Saturday, Mr. Texter blended from his new undisclosed location. He's doing well, the lawyer said. He's a very poised 20-year-old, and he's got everything going right for him. He's got a close family, a close group of advisors, and we do hope to work with him for many years to come. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, you 20-year-old Port Richey kid. Good for you. Let's run through some of the others we have this morning. Other stories that we have today. Did you guys hear about this threat to kill Steelers fans? A San Antonio man has been arrested after allegedly threatening to kill Pittsburgh Steelers players at the NFL divisional playoff game Sunday at Heinz Field. Now, I guess this guy was suicidal, and it's one of those things where, for whatever reasons, and instead of just going, I'm suicidal and I'm taking myself out, you want to take other people with them. So, the quote, this Sunday's playoff game at Pittsburgh is going to be like no other. Why? Because it's going to be my last day on this pathetic planet. So why not take some innocent lives with me? This guy wrote. His name is Utana Chuchungul, 30. The Steelers game will be, quote, the Steelers game will be packed, and that's when I plan on killing Steelers football players and fans before taking my own pitiful life. After all, what does a person that is going to commit suicide have to lose? Absolutely nothing. So why not take out some $1 million Steelers players before me? Sounds like a good idea. Ha 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 ha. There was a lot of ha-has. The target was one of the NFL's most visible and highly anticipated games. I don't know, when I see something like that, man, it doesn't seem like somebody who is going to be killing anybody. That really seems like somebody who is screaming, "Help me!" And that's why you put all that kind of stuff in there. Hey, everybody, it's my last day on the planet. Let me just go ahead and, take some people with me. Help. The target is one of the NFL's most visible and highly anticipated games, with either the Steelers or Jacksonville Jaguars advancing. The Steelers expressed their appreciation on how law enforcement officials ended the threat, saying in a statement Sunday, the Heinz Field website received a threat concerning the playoff game versus Jacksonville. We take all threats seriously and turned over the information to the FBI and the city of Pittsburgh police. We are thankful law enforcement was able to identify and track down the individual to make an arrest. We appreciate the hard work and attention that our law enforcement provides our communities. Yeah, I don't think that was a real threat. That's a guy who's at his wit's end. I mean, but who knows? You got to take that stuff seriously. I mean, you don't take something like that seriously, and the next thing you know, he's taking out a group of people. Next up. Oh, yes. Living here in the Bay Area, well, I live, I'm in Pinellas County, so I'm out at the beaches all the time. And one of the things that I've noticed is some bars are starting to not use straws. You go and you get a drink, they don't serve straws. And according to this article, every day Americans throw away about 500 million plastic straws, enough to circle the earth twice or to fill 125 school buses. That's every day. That means that the average American uses over 35,000 of them in a lifetime, but that could even be a low estimate, according to Adrian Grenier, who leads the campaign called Strawless Ocean. Quote, I don't like these. I don't think these numbers are right. I could be wrong. I just don't think these numbers. Conservatively, you can guess that Americans will use on average 2 plastic straws a day. Really? Do you use 2 plastic straws a day? Now, I think when somebody like that is thinking of these numbers, they're thinking of all the people around them. That if you live in a big city, if you're in New York or LA, and you start your day off at the Starbucks, you got a little tiny plastic straw in your coffee there, and then you're going to get your iced coffee later in the day, there's a straw there, and your soda at night, there's a straw there. But I think, the majority of Americans are not going through 2 straws a day. They might not even be going through any straws every single day. Also, do you have anybody in your life right now who carries around metal straws with them? I do. One of our good friends. She carries around 2 metal straws, got a little, bended to them and everything in her purse. And when we're out drinking or whatever, her and her husband, she breaks out these metal straws, and they use those instead. Worldwide, plastic straws are the 6th most common type of litter, according to Literati, an app that identifies and maps trash among the top 10 marine debris items, according to environmental advocacy group Ocean Conservancy. So anyway, the question is have straws, run their course, and is it time to just get rid of them? Because another thing to come to find out, they're not even recyclable for whatever reason. Made from fossil fuels, they are almost never recycled because they're too small and could be made from several different types of plastic. They simply contribute to the massive problem of plastic pollution. 8 million tons of plastic is dumped into the oceans every single year. Plastic straws are now the target of a growing movement to reduce their use. Possibly it's funny because last night, we're out at eating, and I see, I'm sitting there and I've got my ice water there, and I want a straw. Well, this even entered my head because I knew I was going to be talking about this day. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't get a straw. And I'm not out the beach or anything. It's not going to end up in the ocean. But the thing is that I'm looking down at that glass, and in all due respect to the restaurant industry, I've seen you wash those damn glasses. I don't know how many times I've sent a glass back because that's somebody else's lip. I know it just goes crank, 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 and you send it back out. So I don't want my lips on a glass. I want a straw. But should plastic straws be banned? I don't know, man. I don't know. Plastic straws are now the target of a growing movement to reduce their use. Possibly the first of such campaigns, Be Straw Free, was started in 2011 by Milo Kress, who was only 9 years old at the time. I noticed that whenever I ordered a drink at a restaurant, it would usually come with a straw in it, and I don't usually need a straw. This seems like a huge waste. I feel the same way about lemons. Kress started asking restaurants where he lived at the time in Vermont to stop providing straws automatically to consumers and make them optional instead, but many agreed, and his request made ripples nationwide. He says the restaurants that make the switch report a reduction in the number of straws they use between 50 and 80%. So, I think, that's the next thing on the table. Next thing on the list is getting rid of plastic straws. Eric Clapton says he's going deaf. In an interview with BBC, I mean, he's 72 now, and he still wants to get out there and play. He doesn't want to tour, just play shows here and there. And it's funny the way that he puts, because he's Eric Clapton. You're a legend. You're a rock god, as they say. And you'll hear the quotes here in a second, but he starts talking about, I just hope people might want to come out and see me as maybe even a novelty. Man, you're Eric Clapton. Eric, Mr. Clapton, don't you worry about it. On BBC's Radio 2, Steve Wright in the afternoon, the musician said, I'm still going to work. I'm going to do a few gigs. I'm doing a show in Hyde Park in July. The only thing I'm concerned with now is being in my 70s is being able to be proficient. I mean, I'm going deaf. I've got tinnitus. My hands just about work. I'm hoping that people will come along and see me just because. Well, maybe more than I'm a curiosity. You know what I mean? I know that it's a part of it because it's amazing to myself that I'm still here, he says. Clapton appeared on the show to talk about his new documentary, Eric Clapton, Life in 12 Bars. The guitarist added, I think it's important to see that it's a happy ending. It's like a redemption concept. If you're going to go see it, be prepared for a heavy ride. Clapton isn't the only musician who's dealt with tinnitus. The Who's Pete Townsend has also discussed his own problems with the condition and hearing loss. Like we always say, getting old sucks. Like my father used to say, don't get old. I'm going to try. There's a new trend out there I want to let you guys know about, and that is teens that are eating Tide laundry. But first, hold on a second here. I see, I don't think that's right, though. Can you tap on that real quickly? That's not right. I don't know which one it is. No, it's this one. Well, I see Cords walked into the room. Oh, I don't have any cameras pointing that way. Yeah, that's fine. Or you can take this. Why don't you take this one right here? That'll be easier. Yeah, just swing that one around to you. That'll be easier. And all right, that one camera right there. No problem at all. All right, so let me talk about this teen thing real quickly, because every now and again these stories pop up, and it's about trends, very dangerous trends that it seems like our kids are getting into, and one of them now is eating Tide Pods for whatever reason. You may have heard about a dangerous online trend where teenagers are ingesting Tide Pods. And I would turn the light more to you and then tilt that camera up just a hair. Hey man, I just want to get you into the shot. And you don't have any light over there on you. There you go. That'll burn your face pretty good. That's a good light. You may have heard about a dangerous online trend where teenagers are ingesting Tide Pods and recording their reactions. Poison Control said it's happening right here in Florida. Of course it is. Why? Because it's Florida. It's all fun and games until somebody ends up in the ER, says Dr. Alfred Alaguas. Those trips to the emergency room are now more likely as teens join in the Tide Pod Challenge. You're playing with fire. It could be something really dangerous. Might seem fun and try to get views, but it's really you're taking chances, says the doctor. Poison Control in Tampa has gotten calls from people asking about eating the pods, saying they thought it would be funny. It seems to have gone from people wanting to do it to people actually doing it. So I'm very surprised. Nationally, 12 days into 2018, all right? 12 days into 2018, 37 teens going to the ER is misusing Tide Pods, and more than half of them intentionally ingesting Tide Pods. One case happened right here in Florida. 3 Florida teens ate Tide Pods in 2017 with scary side effects. You can become rapidly unconscious if you aspirate and get some into your lungs, either in the fact of swallowing it or in the act of vomiting, which happens, then you have more respiratory issues. And then you have to kind of ask whether or not this is just one of those things that nature sets up to thin the herd. Since we've taken the marbles away from our children, maybe this is something that we've got that helps thin the herd. Now, I feel bad if one of your teens end up being somebody who eats one of these things and dies, but that's just kind of the way life goes. Before we get to some of the other stories today, let's Cords Owen, who's the owner here at Bake More Pies and my partner in this broadcast, came in and plugged in a microphone. So I'm assuming that you didn't just plug in the microphone for your health.
Well, you were talking about the straw story at the time,
right?
And I remember
you have something to say.
Well, I remember going into the Starbucks for a couple of years, and they were selling these metal straws. And so I was thinking, man, that seems like so dangerous. I mean, what if you tripped and fell while you were using one of those straws, and then all of a sudden we saw them discontinue use of those straws. So I think it was for injury reasons.
Well, I told like I said a second ago, one of the friends of ours, our best friends, basically our best couple friends. You know how when you get married, all of a sudden the best friend dynamic changes a little bit usually, and all of a sudden your best friends have to be coupled up as well, or else it just doesn't work. So our best friends, they've been doing this for a couple years now. They carry around a little metal straw in their purse, but. Well, she carries it around in the purse, and then when we're out drinking, out at dinner, she just breaks out the metal straws, pop them in, and there you go. I don't see myself doing that. Although, I just can't. And I'm with if you're a dude, you can't just slide that bad boy in your pocket. It's not going to work. All right, I got a couple more stories this morning, and and then. Yeah, I don't think I'm going until 9 o'clock this morning. All right,
I brought you that hot water.
I appreciate it. Man, what a frustrating. Thank you. What a frustrating morning, man.
And remember, we've got the automobile, the live from the lot project.
Yep, I am excited about that. Coming up after the show today, and is that something that we include in the show? We can talk about on the show, or
sure.
Because one of the aspects, or one of the things about this show is it's more than just a show. It's a content generator as well. And so we have clients where afterwards, after the show, we fire things back up, hit record, and kind of change the set around a little bit, and we can do host different podcasts for people around the country. And so one of the things that we are doing is for a client who has their clients all around the country, their car dealerships. And so we're going to start a live from the lot kind of thing series where, we check in with different lots around the country and they highlight their deals on a weekly basis, right? Basically, that's a good way to put it.
Right. You may have seen some of the other shows we've done where we've taken the cell phone camera and then gone remote. Well, that technology works from anywhere in the world. So basically what we're able to do is we could take 20 cell phone cameras that are connected wirelessly, and then and plug them through our system and be able to switch between them all. And so car dealerships really love that because they are always struggling like crazy for fresh content. And the fact that you can have a professional broadcaster like Chris welcome them, guide them through a kick the tires type of process, it generates 5 to 10 minutes of amazing video that they couldn't do on their own.
Right. So looking forward to. Not looking forward to. I'm looking forward for my voice coming back before we hook up with those guys. Otherwise, I'm screwed. A couple of things before I get out of here this morning. Liam Neeson is somebody else who has. Hold on, no, he has not been caught up in the sexual harassment stuff. But Liam Neeson is chiming in and is another one of the people saying that this is a witch hunt. And he was asked about the issue on the Irish broadcaster RTE. Neeson said, "There's some people, famous people, being suddenly accused of touching some girl's knee or something, and suddenly they're being dropped from their program." He referred to a U.S. radio presenter and writer Garrison Keillor, who was dropped by Minnesota Public Radio last year over an allegation of inappropriate behavior. Neeson said that wasn't the same as the other Harvey Weinstein stuff. Neeson also said that he was on the fence regarding sexual misconduct allegations against Dustin Hoffman. But the 65-year-old Taken star also said Friday that the Me Too movement taking place across every industry is healthy, which brings us to Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice has something similar to say. And this goes back to last week. I don't know if you guys recall.
The French actress?
The French actress, right. And there was 100 of them that put out this letter saying, hey, you guys need to calm down on this. This has gone too far. Now, former U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice said that while she believes the Me Too movement is a good thing, people need to be a little bit careful about how they respond to it. Let's not turn women into snowflakes. Let's not infantilize. Have you ever heard that word before?
Well, it sounds like, I guess you're saying that infantilize, so I guess everyone's a child?
Well, that is, or saying that about women. Basically, women
can't take care of themselves.
Exactly. Right. That they are pure little babies that need men to take care of them, need society to take care of them. Rice insisted during an interview with CNN's David Axelrod. Rice said she did not want to get to a place that men start to think, well, maybe it's just better not to have women around. Condoleezza Rice says she's already hearing some of that, and it worries her. Following last year's downfall of Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein after sexual harassment and assault allegations, people have begun sharing their stories of sexual harassment and abuse using the hashtag #MeToo. Rice, the first American woman to become Secretary of State, was careful to emphasize that she did not want to battle women who have shared their stories of sexual harassment because we are all different. Asked if she'd ever been a victim, she said, certainly had people say inappropriate things. Quote, I've certainly had people suggest that maybe we should just go out and situations in which it is somebody more senior than I, she said. I've never had anyone do anything that I would consider assault, she goes on to say. But I don't know a woman alive who hasn't had somebody say or do something that was inappropriate at best and aggressive at worst. Axelrod asked if Rice, if she had any advice for Oprah Winfrey and more, And she goes on and talks about the, Oprah Winfrey running for president. But this is Condoleezza Rice, and this is the same thing I told you guys. I was talking with my aunt a few weeks ago who was high up in Kodak for decades, and asked her, about her journey, and she kind of took a stance like this as well. She goes, "Listen, I've never been inappropriately touched, and those situations where somebody might be crossing the line, I cut that shit off real quick, and we move on." And so, from her vantage point, she was putting a lot of this onto the women because also in those decades she saw women, she witnessed how women would work the system, work the higher ups, and so on and so forth. So to her, this is a discussion that needs to go back and forth. This isn't all about just men being pigs and so on and so forth. And Condoleezza Rice saying, be careful going down this path because you're going to turn women are nothing but babies that have to be protected by men.
It sounds to me like the way that your aunt reacted was sort of my understanding of the embodiment of like what they're hoping to accomplish with feminism, right? It's women that are capable, they can stand up for themselves.
Right.
They can do anything they want to in life. And this the victim mentality is the exact opposite, right?
Yeah, and I feel like I have to be careful. I have to choose my words carefully when we go down this path. Like, hey, ladies, some of this is on you too, because you're just waiting for that backlash of how is sexual assault and rape the woman? No, I'm not talking about sexual assault. I'm not talking about rape. I'm talking about the 90% of the stories that have come out since Harvey Weinstein, because there are those allegations, Harvey Weinstein, Russell Simmons, even Kevin Spacey, right? These are allegations of sexual assault.
Well, there's a huge difference between those stories and the stories of so-and-so put their hand on my knee or tried to kiss me or, we were drinking all night at some party and then on the way back in the cab, made sexual advance. To me, there's a huge difference between that. And then even last week you saw, what was the actress's name who played Wonder Woman?
Godot.
Right. So she was coming out and talking a lot about how she's been, what do you call it, where she's been objectified and whatnot.
Gal Gadot.
And she's there accepting an award, and her dress, it looks like it's solo cut. It almost goes to her belly button.
Right.
And so, I mean, to me, it just seems, it's very confusing as a male, as a man, to sit there and watch about how these actresses can complain about being sexualized, and then they're advertising their sex, and their sexuality. They're literally at an award show in front of thousands of their colleagues.
All right, let's do, that was Gal Gadot, just so you can, if you don't recall, Gal Gadot at the Golden Globes, right?
That's right.
Golden Globes. So I want to bring up a picture there, and oh, this is an old.
But I think while you're looking that up, I think what this kind of gets to, I don't remember who I was talking to, but it was a couple weeks ago. But they were talking about how there she is, exactly. Like, does that reach her belly button?
It looks like it does.
I mean, she's a beautiful, attractive, I'm sure she's an intelligent woman, but I mean, look at that. I mean, what do you think? What is she saying with that outfit there? I mean,
well, that's the whole thing. It seemed weird to me because she's talking about women empowerment, this and that. I'm like, your character is in a bathing suit the entire time. You're half naked, running around on screen, talking about empowerment. No, you're pretending that there's empowerment here. But in the end, this is another woman being sexualized. It plays into our teenage fantasies, and that's why you are where you are.
Yeah, trust me, in that movie, Wonder Woman, I don't know if have you had a chance to see it yet?
No,
well,
not yet.
Spoiler alert, she didn't beat the bad guy with her brains.
Really? Did she trick the bad guy by using her cleavage?
No, she didn't. She didn't do that. She used her magic powers.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So this story, by the way, stemmed from Condoleezza Rice saying we got to be careful with these conversations because this Me Too movement, because it's turning every man. Well, no, it's not has to do with what it's turning into the men into. It is turning women into infantile. It infantilizes women.
That's not how that's not how I see women at all. Like, I think we both view women as very capable. Your wife is extremely educated.
She's much more capable than I am.
Exactly. I mean, like, how in the world is that infantile?
I do. I know that personally, I have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency, like, if immediately in a situation, I will take the woman's side. Oh, yeah, of course, it's the man is aggressive. I have a tendency to look at, like, women need to be protected. There is a part of me that I have to, I don't want to say fight, but
to me, there's a difference. I mean, there's a difference between being the classical gentleman, opening doors. If a woman's getting talked down to and male's getting aggressive with her, stepping in and saying, "Hey, buddy, slow down. What are you doing?" There's a huge difference to me when you get to that point where it's physical, when there's physical violence, possible. I think there's a huge difference between that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, the conversation continues. We're not solving any world problems today.
Well, who was it? I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and they were just talking about how, and I don't want to throw a blanket over this whole thing, but they were talking about how years ago, all of a sudden, becoming a victim brought you a level of power, and I think it was in our culture. They were talking about the Menendez brothers. They were saying basically that's about where in our culture it changed, where all of a sudden, these two brothers who had murdered their parents claimed victim status.
Psychopaths, right?
Right, exactly. Claimed victim status. And ever since then, we're talking about how, victim this, victim that. Even the latest news cycle with, the shithouse thing. It's these countries, these people in these countries now are victims. So, like,
Well, All right. I don't. Well, you're trying to bring those two worlds together. If you're trying to bait me, it's not going to work. So. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming in here and helping me through the morning. But if it's all right, we'll go ahead and wrap things today.
Yeah, let's rest your voice a little bit. We gotta ease it in a little bit.
Yeah, we've got we've got some real business. We got to make sure this this golden voice is exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's
here
not my voice for sure.
Here in a couple hours. Thank you so much for being a part of the Wake.Show this morning. Happy MLK Day. For those of you heading out to parades this morning, enjoy. And we'll get back at it tomorrow morning. It's the Wake.Show. And I am Chris Fisher. Have a great day.